Hello everyone and welcome to Backend Simplified. At the end of this video you'll have your Prettier installed in your VS Code and we'll learn some useful tips that will make you use it like a pro. But first, what is a Prettier? A Prettier is a code formatter that has support for multiple languages like JavaScript, Angular, Vue, TypeScript, and so on. The full list is here in the documentation. The main benefit of using Prettier is to make all the programmers in your project to be aligned to the same formatting settings. Just imagine that every developer in your team makes a pull request and his formatting may vary according to his style. It can be a huge headache. A common question is what's the difference between Prettier and Linters? In general, Prettier is used for formatting, while linters are used for catching bugs. In Prettier, you have rules like max length, no mixed spaces and tabs, keyword spacing, comma style, and so on. While when you are using a linter, ESLint for example, you have rules like no unused vars, no extra bind, rules that are related to promises, and so on. If you have both Prettier and linters, like in the most of the projects, you have to visit the documentation, and here you have a topic that is called integrating with linters, and you will have to choose your specific linter and see what is the best way to integrate between the two. Let's install Prettier on our VS Code. Let's go to extensions, right here Prettier. Choose the first one, click here to install. After you do it, I think that it's going to tell you that you need to restart your VS Code. Do it. Now let's see how we are going to use it. Here is an example of a JavaScript file. I'm going to add a few tabs and let's see how we're going to format this. Right click. Here you have format document and you also have a shortcut for it. Click. And as you can see, it fixed my file. Great. Now let's see a few tips for using Prettier. The first one is to set Prettier to run every time you save a file. It is also called onSave configuration. Here in the information, you can see that you need to change some attributes in your settings, in your VS settings. You need to configure Prettier to be your default formatter. You can do so by setting it for the whole languages, all programming languages that you are using, or you can set it for a specific programming language like JavaScript, as you can see here. After we are going to do this, we need to set a configuration that is called onSave. Here you can see formatOnSave. You can also do it for a specific language, or you can do it for your whole languages that you are running on your computer. In order to do so, we're going to search for settings. As you can see, I wrote this error, settings, and we're going to open user settings. Here I have already configured Prettier to be my default formatter for JavaScript, as you can see, and TypeScript. And I already added formatOnSave to be true. Great. Now I'm going to show you how it works. Again, I did some changes. I'm going to save and it changed my file. The second tip is to create a Prettier configuration file. With this file, all the developers that are contributing to your project will be aligned and you will have the same formatting for every developer, no matter if it uses VS Code, WebStorm, or something else. In the Prettier explanation, you can see how VS Code determines which settings to run. First, it will try to read the Prettier configuration file. If you won't find it, it will try to use some VS Code configurations. But in this specific tip, we want to create a configuration file. So let's click here. After we click, we get to this specific website. In the documentation, you can see the basic configuration. Let's copy it. It talks about tab width, semi, quotes, and so on. In order to do so, we need to create a file. The file needs to be .prettier and let's drop it right here. Now every developer that is going to open your project are going to have the same specific rules. The last tip is more complex, so I want to give it a little background. In big projects, we have something called pre-commit actions. Pre-commit actions are, for example, running the tests that are related to the modified files and you want to make sure they pass. It can be also running the linter, for example. In our case, we highly recommend to add formatting to your pre-commit actions. If you will add it, every commit that is going to be merged to production branch will already be formatted and you won't have any issues with that. Thank you guys for watching, and if you are still here, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It will help us a lot. Thank you very much.